Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Amazon Pay webinar talking about designing an Alexa skill for monetization. We have Tony Cordova, Enterprise Solutions Architect from Amazon, as well as Micah Hollingworth, CEO and co-founder from Broadway AI. I'll go ahead and let them introduce themselves.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tony. I'm a solutions architect with Amazon Pay. And as part of my role, is to help developers like you build Amazon Pay for Alexa skills that engage your customers.
And
Thanks,
I'm Micah
Tony.
Hollingworth.
And also Micah.
Sorry. Yep. And I'm Micah Hollingworth. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Broadway AI. I've got 25 plus years of experience in the commercial theater business, and that makes me a serial entrepreneur.
Great. Thank you both and welcome. Thank you for taking the time today to join us for this webinar. So our goal for this webinar is to give you the building blocks to start designing and developing your first Amazon Pay for Alexa skill. This is the second in a series of webinars to help first-time Alexa developers to start monetizing with Amazon Pay. You may have seen our previous webinar where we talked about the value of Alexa and Amazon Pay for monetizing your skill. Some examples of how our customers are finding success with it and the steps to get you started with your Alexa skill. But as you may have already observed, designing a voice experience needs a different approach. This webinar is the next step. Once you have an idea of what you want to build, how you would start designing an engaging skill. What are the tips for a good voice UI? How to monetize your Alexa skill with Amazon Pay. Please know that these webinars will be made available on our website at pay.amazon.com. But let's get started.
Okay, so we've seen a number of ways that Alexa is enhancing people's lives and enabling businesses to reach their customers in a unique way. Many brands and businesses are already using Alexa to support a range of customer needs. You may have seen our previous webinar where we talked about the value of Alexa and Amazon Pay for monetizing your skill, some examples of how our customers are finding success, and the steps to getting started with your Alexa skill. As you may already know, designing a voice experience requires a different approach compared to web and mobile. We'll talk about how you can get started designing a voice user interface, or as we'll call it, vui for VUI, with some basic concepts on the components of voice interactions. We'll talk about the characteristics of a well-designed vui and give you some examples of real-world skills that are available. As with many things we create, there is always an opportunity to iteratively improve. We'll talk about some ways that you can track usage and gather engagement data so that you can improve and optimize your skill. Then we'll wrap up with some easy ways for you to start building your Amazon Pay for Alexa skill. Just to let you know, these materials will be made available after the presentation, and you can always contact us to discuss your business and its objectives in more detail. So we're all aware of the growing use of voice-enabled devices, and I'd like to share with you some data around Alexa's growth. So the world's biggest brands are on Alexa and creating their own voice applications or skills. As a result, customers increasingly expect the brands in their lives to be on Alexa. From education and entertainment to personal finances and making everyday purchases, customers are seeking increased assistance and utility across all aspects of their lives. Today, there are over 100,000 skills available for customers, a number of which will continue to grow rapidly. Engagement with these skills are also on the rise. We've seen billions of customers' interactions with skills to date and a 100% year-over-year increase in skill engagement. As more users turn to skills, we are learning more about what makes the best experiences, and customers become increasingly comfortable with voice as an interface. 30% of US consumers are likely to buy a product or service using voice in the next 3 years. Brands and businesses looking to meet their customers where they are need to be considering this and including voice and smart assistant-based commerce as part of their omnichannel efforts. Alexa is able to support customers looking to purchase products in a variety of ways. Features businesses are already utilizing to bring better experiences to the customers include enabling users to add products to the cart, purchase real-world goods and services, tracking order status, reordering, learning about promotions, providing customer service and offering customized recommendations. And so from product discovery through purchase and reordering, Alexa is a powerful tool to drive your business and provide a seamless experience for your customers. So to create a voice user interface for your skill, you first need to understand a few key voice design concepts. So let's talk a little bit about the basics of voice skill development. Voice skill development, of course, is different than designing for web or mobile. When using devices that are voice first, shoppers do not have visual references like they do when using a laptop or phone. So think about how you would converse with your customer if they were face-to-face and use the same language in your product descriptions. For example, rather than focusing on all the ingredients of an item or technical specs of a product and reading back an entire wall of text, create a brief descriptive story that solves your customer needs and keep it brief and to the point. The first step in developing your Amazon Pay for Alexa skill is to design the voice interaction model of your skill. To provide a fluid and natural voice experience, it is important to script and then act out different ways a user might talk to Alexa. To create a voice user interface for your skill, you need to first understand some key voice design concepts. A user wakes an Alexa-enabled device with the wake word, Alexa, and asks a question or makes a request. For Alexa-enabled devices with a screen, a user can also touch the screen to interact with Alexa. So here's some key terms to understand. The wake word tells Alexa to start listening to your commands, and a launch word is a transition action word that signals Alexa that a skill invocation will likely follow. So some sample launch words include tell, ask, open, launch, and use. To begin interacting with the skill, a user says the skill's invocation name. For example, to use the daily horoscope skill, the user could say, Alexa, read my daily horoscope. An utterance is a user's spoken request. These spoken requests can invoke a skill, provide inputs for a skill, confirm an action for Alexa, and so on. Consider the many ways a user could form their request. A prompt is a string of text that should be spoken to the customer to ask for additional information. You can include the prompt text in your response to a customer's request. An intent represents an action that fulfills a user's spoken request. Intents can optionally have arguments called slots. Slots are input values provided in a user's spoken request. These values help Alexa figure out the user's intent. Now that you know what the components of a skill are, it is easier to understand what an interaction model is. An interaction model is simply a combination of utterances, intents, and slots that you identify for your skill. To create an interaction model, you need to define the requests or intents and the sample utterances. You can start defining the intents and utterances on paper and iterate on those to try to cover as many possible ways the user can interact with the skill. Then, you can go to the Alexa Developer Console and start creating the intents and the utterances and slots. The console creates the JSON code of your interaction model, and you can also create the interaction model in JSON yourself and then copy paste it into the Developer Console. So a major part of the experience is designing your skill to mimic human conversation well. Before you write one line of code, you should work really hard to think through how your customers will interact with your skill. Skipping this step will result in a poorly written skill that will not work well with your users. While it may be tempting to use a flowchart to represent how a conversation may branch, don't do that. Flowcharts are not conversational. They're complicated and difficult to read and tend to lead to an inferior experience, not unlike a phone tree. So instead of flowcharts, you should use situational design. And situational design is a voice-first method to design your voice user interface. You start with a simple dialogue which keeps the focus on the conversation. Each interaction between your customer and the skill represents a turn. Each turn has a situation that represents the context. If it's the customer's first time interacting with the skill, there's a set of data that is yet unknown. Once the skill has stored that information, it will be able to use in the next time the user interacts with the skill. With situational design, you start with the conversation and work backwards to your solution. Each interaction between the user and Alexa is treated as a turn. Each turn can be represented as a card that contains the user utterance, situation, and Alexa's response. Combine these cards together to form a storyboard, which shows how the user will progress through the skill over time. Storyboards are conversational, flowcharts aren't. Here is an example dialogue for the Park Whiz skill, which we will talk about later. Now that we've covered the basic components and concepts of voice, let's talk about some of the best practices we've seen working with many businesses like yours with their voice skills. When talking with a machine, a user should not be required to learn a new language or remember the rules. A machine should conform to the user's paradigm and not the other way around. For example, Regis built the open salon skill so their customers can find and book a haircut at one of their hair salons. To engage Alexa, the user simply says something like, "Alexa, ask Open Salon to find the next available haircut appointment." And that's a very natural way for someone to schedule a haircut. Your skills GUI should offer an easy way to cut through layers of information hierarchy by using voice commands to find important information. So for this next example, my Alexa impersonation is not so great. So Ashley, if you can help out, that'd be appreciated. Now, as an example, one of our developers, Arrive, built the Park Whiz skill to help their customers find and book parking through Alexa. So using short prompts, Alexa is able to learn where and when you want to park. And as an example voice experience may sound something like this. Alexa, open Park Whiz.
Where would you like to park?
500 West Madison Street.
Would you like to start parking now?
Yes.
How long would you like to park for?
4 hours. And that's the end of that interaction. And voice interfaces should allow users to perform tasks while their eyes and hands are occupied. And the Park Whiz skill is a perfect example of this because, of course, we want your eyes on the road and your hands on the steering wheel when you're driving around looking for a parking space. So let's hear from one of our customers who have developed an engaging Alexa skill with Amazon Pay. We have here with us Micah Hollingworth, the CEO and co-founder of Broadway AI, and he led the initiative with their sister company, Satisfy Labs, to build the Alexa skill for Broadway's Phantom of the Opera.
Hi, I'm Micah, CEO and co-founder of Broadway AI. Working with our sister company, Satisfy Labs, we help connect fans and clients in this new multi-channel world. By structuring their data, we can move the analog experience to the digital world. Picture that great box office staff member or company representative placed anywhere digitally, prepared to answer questions on your behalf, creating a digital record of each and every conversation. What was asked, what tickets were looked at, what tickets were purchased, all of that data readily available and surfaceable for you. We launched our intelligent ticketing assistant in the fall of 2018, initially via chat and Facebook Messenger, with a vision to work into the voice space. Providing an opportunity to engage with fans via voice with the potential of a frictionless purchase process is an absolute no-brainer. We took the learnings from our early operations in chat and Facebook to build our Phantom skill, which took us a little over 6 months of active development time to execute. As shared earlier, we didn't attempt to directly translate our chat experience to voice because the design is nuanced and slightly different. But we use that knowledge from our initial learnings as the foundation of our approach, especially in regards to ticket search and purchase. For example, for the initial launch, we limit the number of price choices our fans can shop for. We keep it to 2 categories to start, best available or best value, rather than overwhelming the fan by listing out a wide variety of options and prices and seat locations. We want to provide 2 clear options when shopping for tickets by voice. The key, once fans have selected tickets, of course, is providing them with a frictionless way to purchase. In this case, it's Amazon Pay. So fans can now engage with the Broadway production of Phantom via voice, and in as simple as 4 steps, select and purchase their tickets entirely by voice. It's the first skill of its kind. Our company has always been very eager to pursue development of an Alexa skill It fits with our vision for meeting fans where they are and providing them with a channel native experience. So now fans can browse and purchase for tickets entirely by voice. This to us was a complete no-brainer and made a lot of sense. Alexa users can use their existing Amazon payment methods to purchase tickets in this now completely frictionless experience. The very early results of integrating Amazon Pay into the skill have been positive. We are able to fit Amazon Pay directives into our existing payment and cancellation flows without any significant challenges. And now that that integration is complete and live, there are numerous additional opportunities that we're exploring with the Amazon Pay team. The Amazon Pay team in particular was phenomenal to work with. I have to specifically call out their solution architect, Michael Jan. He was instrumental in assisting our developers in completing many of the final steps that got us to launch. And in general, across the board, the Amazon Pay team has been excellent to work with.
That's great. Thank you, Micah. And I appreciate you being here and taking the time. Now to continue talking about how to actually get started. And it's fairly easy. We have several resources available to help you. So I'll go ahead and pass it back over to Tony to kind of talk through how to get started.
All right, thanks, Micah. Thanks, Ashley. This slide looks a little bit more complicated than it really is. There's really just three main steps here, which is to create your accounts, create your skill, and publish it. So to start using Amazon Pay, you need to register as a merchant. And your Amazon Pay account allows you to create test accounts and test transactions. The next step is to become an Amazon developer. You can sign up at developer.amazon.com, and the developer portal is where you develop your Alexa skill. Once you've built your skill, the next step in your Amazon Pay integration process is to link your skill with your Amazon Pay account to allow it access to communicate with each other. So here's a slightly different view of the previous slide. Again, the first step is building your Amazon Pay for Alexa skills to register as an Alexa developer and an Amazon Pay merchant if you haven't already. The next step in your Amazon Pay integration process is to link your skill with your Amazon Pay account. To link your Amazon Pay account with your Alexa skill, you'll need to visit your Seller Central account page and provide permissions to your Alexa skill. The final step to integrate Amazon Pay with your skill is to set up your payment workflow. Amazon Pay supports two types of charging scenarios for businesses utilizing the service. So charge now, anytime you are still using the skill and are charged for an order, that falls under the charge now payment workflow. This is great for products that will ship immediately, like flowers or movie tickets. And charge later is a workflow. The charge later workflow is when you don't charge the user while they are using the skill. For an example, if I'm a streaming service like Netflix, I may give a 30-day free trial, and it's not until the end of 30 days that I will charge the user. In this scenario, you are using the charge later workflow. We've recently released a new buyer ID feature that allows merchants to recognize Amazon Pay customers on a web, mobile, in-store, and Alexa channels. This makes it possible to build truly connected experiences across all your channels. Allow your customers to start their shopping journey in one channel and complete it in another one later. This ensures that your customers can interact with your business at any time with Alexa. As an example, allow your customers to add items to the cart on the web and later check out with Alexa. Once you've built your skill, we offer a way for you to track its usage or engagement so that you can make adjustments and optimize. As with most things we build, it's usually not perfect the first time, and we learn to make it better based on how it's used. Voice skills are no different. Once you build your voice skill, see how your customers are using it, and use that learning to improve your skill and optimize the customer experience. You can monitor the performance of your skill through usage metrics available to you in one of the analytics page of the developer console. These metrics give you useful information on how customers are using your skill. and can help guide your decision on how to design your skill in order to improve the experience. Alexa allows businesses to see these types of data. The summary is a high-level overview of the metrics available for the skill. The customers is the total unique customers. Sessions is the total sessions, successful session types, sessions per customers, and more. Utterances is the total utterances, average utterances, and utterance responses. For intents, unique customer per intents, total utterances per intent, and more. Retention is the skill usage over time by groups of customers or cohorts. The interaction path is the common paths customers take when interacting with your skill. And skill activation is the number of customers who enable the skill, including account linking data if applicable. All of these metrics can help point your business towards specific skill optimizations and learning that will inform the design, positioning, and marketing of your skill. Lastly, here's a screenshot of the analytics page on your developer console where you can see how your skill is being used by your customers.
Thank you, Tony. And thank you, Micah. I want to thank you both for being here today, for helping provide more context into how to build an Alexa skill, what one might look like. I think this is really helpful for our audience. So, and also thank you to our audience. Thank you for taking the time today to listen in. That concludes our session. I hope you guys found it useful and it sparked some ideas on how you could build an Alexa skill and monetize it with Amazon Pay. As always, we're going to have these resources available at pay.amazon.com. But if you have any specific questions, please reach out to our email alias askamazonpay@amazon.com. Thank you all again. Have a great day.